Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and welcome to another breakdown of Georgia football. And what could be better for a holiday weekend and to give thanks than another Georgia football victory? And we've got DJ Shockley and Eric Zier somewhere around here to tell us about how that's going to happen this weekend as Georgia takes on Georgia Tech. It's a 12 o'clock game in Atlanta, Bobby Dodd Stadium at Grant Field. And our coverage on the Bulldog Sports Network starts at 8 a.m. Nice chilly morning on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, but we're looking forward to it. And, it's a great way to end the regular season with a game against your arch rival. And Shock and Z, I said, what would be a better holiday gift for Georgia fans and for this team and for everybody in Bulldog Nation than a victory on Saturday? Here's the question. How's Georgia going to get it?
I think it's kind of the same MO you've had all year long. I mean, it's the old cliche. If it ain't broke, why are you going to try to fix it? If things are going great, you're doing things the right way. And the most important thing, I think, is we're getting a lot of guys back that's been kind of banged up. And I think that's the big thing is we're heading into a stretch where you need every single guy that's going to be productive for you. But obviously, it's a big rivalry game. Means a lot to everybody. Means a lot to these guys on this team. Probably 90% of our team is from the state of Georgia, probably recruited by Georgia Tech at some time. And this is one of those games you just do not want to lose. So if there's any heightened focus this week, I don't care what they did last week. I don't care they lost 55-0. It doesn't matter. I still want to go out and play my best ball game. And the defense has played stellar all year. They haven't had a letdown, even with all the different variations that's been thrown at them. Offensively, you've seen the explosiveness in the way they throw it down the field. You've seen explosiveness out of the backs last week, putting out some big runs. Just continue to play the style of ball you've been playing. Don't try to change it now here in week 12 because you're playing a different team and it's a rival and, it's right down the street and you're looking forward to next week. Now, go out and play your same style of football, focus in on those Jews with that GT on your helmet, and let's go get another W.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Shock. And first of all, happy Thanksgiving, man.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Grateful for you both. Thank you. Shock, I agree with everything that you said. We've been talking all year long about this team, so many games this year having to bring their own juice because they've just been such heavy favorites. And playing noon kickoffs and how this team has played to that standard. I don't worry about that one bit this week. One, it's Georgia Tech, and if there are players on this team that don't understand this rivalry, we've got more guys from out of state now coming in because of the recruiting that Kirby's doing, and so there's probably some education that has to go in around the history of this game. That will be done. But the fact now that we are a couple of weeks away from Atlanta, I think this team is going to be as locked in getting ready, not just for Tech, but knowing that they've got the biggest game in many cases in their careers on the horizon and more after that. I think this team smells blood in the water and is ready to go, continue to get after it. We haven't seen a letdown yet this year. I don't think we see one now. As a matter of fact, I think the intensity just ratchets up a little bit more, knowing that after we finish with this game, right? And it's a game that we should win, and we should win it pretty handily. And I'm not saying that we're looking past it. I think the intensity at practice and the focus that you're going to see day in and day out, because now that goal of being an SEC champion, you can almost reach out and feel it right now. So that's just going to drive increased intensity, increased focus, even above and beyond what this team has already had this year as we move through the rest of this week of practice through this game and into next week. I'm excited to see this Dogs team on Saturday.
Well, guys, here's a team that was undefeated in the SEC, 8-0, undefeated at home, trying to close out an undefeated regular season with a win over Georgia Tech on Saturday and continue from there. We always hear we can still get better. We're working to get better. We're practicing to get better. Shock, how can this team get better than it is right now?
Ooh, that's tough, man. Obviously, you love to be able to be in some of those film rooms and see some of the stuff, maybe technique-wise, that some guys have, kind of strayed away later in the season. That's usually what happens when you get into the latter part of the season, some of the technique stuff kind of goes away. And maybe it's a misstep one way. Maybe it's, not stepping with the right foot when you're trying to get up on a linebacker or whatever it may be. And I think it's just the small things. And this team hasn't had the big things that's kind of pop up that's hurt you. And that's a credit to each and every week, this staff, these players being locked in on what their, individual performance is supposed to be like. But when you, watch certain things, you can see just small things that guys have to work on, or anticipation from a quarterback at times, or a back hitting it in the right spot when he's supposed to, or, following the guy on the right, or, a receiver getting to the proper depth. Those little small things, I think, are the things that they're still trying to get better at. But when you look at the full body picture of what this team has done, there's not many gaping holes. There's not many big picture things that you say, all right, we got guys running wide open. We got guys missing blocks everywhere. You just don't see that from this Georgia team this year. Hopefully that continues, but definitely there's always small things. There's always the details of the game. There's always the situations of the game that you have to be conscious of when you get late in the season. Make sure everybody's still locked in on those.
The worst day of any week in the season is the day after the game, because you have to go in and watch film. And even when you have gone out and you think that you have played lights out, you put up great numbers, right? Everything felt good. You go in, and coaches have a unique way of finding every small, tiny thing that you did wrong, and they go drill it into your head. And really the reason they do that is, listen, the difference as we get into more evenly matched football team, the difference between winning championships and coming in second where nobody remembers your name, it's inches. It's the details that Shock was just talking about. And when you can make up the difference of those inches, that's when you can go achieve greatness, right? It's the smallest of details that separates, a national champion or an SEC champion from that runner-up that you never remember their name. That's what the coaches right now are digging into on every snap. And believe me, they can go find all of that. I don't care if your step needed to be 6 inches and you step 4 inches, they will go beat that into you like you just lost the game or could have lost the game because of something that small. So they'll find things, and there are things always that you can go work on. But it's what makes this team special, is because they stay focused in on that and strive to get better every single day.
Shock, I think you mentioned it earlier. You may have touched on it, the rivalry of this matchup. I mean, Georgia's got tons of rivals. We all know that. It's like every week we're playing, a different team that wants to take our head off because of this long rivalry that we've been involved in. How much does this particular one, though, drive motivation for the Bulldogs as they get ready for Saturday? Does it at all, or is it just another game on the schedule?
Scott, you know the answer to that. Come on, it's clean old-fashioned hate. That was like you just put it up on the tee for me so I could tee it up. But absolutely, I mean, this is one of those games. I remember when I played, Coach Rick used to always tell us, hey, don't be the class that lost to Georgia Tech. And now for sure, that always stuck with me. And I didn't want to be the class that lost to Georgia Tech. And for a number of reasons, obviously, you got a bunch of friends on that team. You're from the state of Georgia. And as we know, there's, always people in the state who want to remind you if you have lost. I have a neighbor in my neighborhood right now. My son hangs out with his son, and he is a Georgia Tech grad. And there is no way in the world that if I'm not even going to mention it, but I'm just going to say I don't want to hear from him at all during this time. I've already taken down my next door neighbor who's a Clemson guy. So I got one more neighbor to take down. And
what neighborhood are you living in?
So your son's not having any play dates this week with the neighbor's son, right? That's all.
He knows we do not feel we don't deal with Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets during this time. But obviously this is a big game. You always want to win this one because you want to be basically we run this state, and that's really what it boils down to. And it's one of those type of games that at the end of the year you got to make sure that one's circled and you got the W behind it.
Yeah, this one's different because it's your next door neighbor. It is. You're going to see.
It's like going to rub their nose in it.
The guys on the team. You've got neighbors that are around you, just like Shock has mentioned. You've got friends that have gone to Tech. I've got family members that have gone to Tech through marriage. I would say through marriage. I'm not sure. He's a phenomenal guy, but not sure how that happened.
He's got Tech. He's got his wife in Tennessee.
I'm surrounded. Shock. It's hard, right? But I'm holding the fort down. So, but that's what makes this different. And we've seen the times where we have lost to Tech. And for Tech, this is their Super Bowl. This is if they win this game, it saves their season. So that they are going to come loaded for bear. They're going to be ready to play. But what makes this one, probably different from all the other ones, is that it's our next door neighbors just down the street, and you're going to see them a lot. So you better win.
Shock, you mentioned the phrase "we run this state." Georgia's had a terrific running game this year with Zamir White and James Cook, a great 1-2 punch, and Kendall Milton when he was healthy, and Dejon Edwards has played very well, and Jordan Davis, the latest to join that running back group with a 1-yard touchdown run last week. Is Jordan going to be back in the mix in the backfield?
Oh, man, I sure hope so. That was fun to watch, wasn't it? I mean, the fact that he didn't get in the first time, and entire Sanford Stadium was going crazy, yelling at Munkin in the booth right next to you guys and telling him to run it again. I mean, Z, did you tap over there and tell Munkin to run it again?
So not too many times do I laugh in the middle of a play call that Scott's given. I saw that lineup and I was ecstatic. I was like a little kid.
We were giddy.
I was giddy, and then we go and do it again. I wasn't tapping on the glass, but I should have been tapping on the glass, saying let's go again. Listen, I hope we see him again. It is the more that we can keep his name at the forefront of college football right now. Listen, if there's anybody deserving of a Heisman Trophy, that when you think about the impact that Jordan Davis has had on this team, on this university, I mean, you look at the great recognition the Red Coat Band gave him last week. He is beloved within the Dog Nation, and boy, to see him get a couple more touches like that would be awesome.
One last thing on Jordan. Last week, right before the seniors walked out, Devontae Wyatt and Jordan Davis were the last two guys, obviously 95 and 99. And as I'm walking by them, both of them, you can see eyes are watering up. And that tells you how much it meant to him. And the fact that they gave Jordan that opportunity, that's something he will always remember for the rest of his life. And I thought it was just pretty cool to see those guys have those kind of emotions and then be rewarded for it, during the game.
It certainly means a lot to these guys. I failed to mention Kenny McIntosh in that backfield too, and he's having a fine season for Georgia as well. Last thing, guys, just one quick key from each of you, how Georgia wins this ball game.
Yeah, I'll start. I think as all season long, it starts on the defense and wreaking havoc, defensive line getting into the backfield. Let those guys run around. If we play lockdown defense, which I expect we will, and dominate the line of scrimmage, we win the football game.
Yeah, I stay on the same side. I mean, they've had both quarterbacks play, Yates and Sims, and last week, they turned the ball over a bunch. They've done that a lot this season. Continue to force them to turn the football over. The more times we can get the football, the more times we got chances to score, the more pressure we put on them. So continue to force the issue, like Z just mentioned, with their offense and force turnovers.
It's Georgia and Georgia Tech Saturday at noon in Atlanta, 8 a.m. start on the Bulldog Sports Network for our all-day coverage of Georgia football. We hope you can join us. For Eric Zier and DJ Shockley and all of Bulldog Nation, this is to you. Happy Thanksgiving. We love you guys. And go Dogs.
Go Dogs.